Hello and welcome to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl. I'd like to take a moment to honor our local hero and comedic genius, our dear Robin Williams. It is such a shock living and suffering in silence that only he really knew about. And we all can be so grateful for all the laughing joy and wonderment and genius he brought to all of us. God bless his family. Our special guest this evening is Jill Lessard. This is the second segment of our two-part discussion with Jill. Graduating from Northwestern University with a BS in radio, TV, film production, Jill embarked on a career in network television PR. She won a Publicist Guild of America Award for managing ABC's national media campaign for the groundbreaking sitcom Ellen. She was senior writer-editor for ABC.com and Oscar.com, the official website of the Academy Awards. She also hosted the first ever webcast of the Emmy Awards. After 20 years in Los Angeles, Jill returned to her roots and taught multimedia communications at her old hometown high school, earning a nomination in 2011 for New Hampshire Teacher of the Year. Since moving to the Bay Area, she has co-produced numerous video segments for Seriously Now, a news magazine cablecast on Marin TV. Make Your Mark, about Sun Valley Elementary School students who successfully petitioned Crayola to recycle their plastic markers, won a 2013 Hometown Media Award at the National Conference of the Alliance of Community Media. The Ghost Below, about an art installation at the Marine Mammal Center created to bring attention to the dangers of plastics in the oceans, earned top honors in the Educational Profile category 2014. Jill has 2 master's degrees, one in professional writing from the University of Southern California and the other in spiritual psychology from the University of Santa Monica. Welcome, Jill. I'm so glad that you decided that you could be a guest on my show. You know, I'm very grateful for all that you have assisted me with my show and Outside Perimeter.
So, I mean, I've been trying to, trace everything back, and I really understand where it all started.
So what do you do when you get to that place when you're in fear about money? How do you handle it? What do you do to counteract it?
Well, I think I told you I had recently gone through a 7-week, it was a group therapy called ACT, Acceptance and Commitment Therapy. And, I think there's a lot to be said for understanding things, and I think affirmations and all the things that we do to try to fix or overcome or, become better or whatever. And ACT has been the most effective technique for me because no matter what comes up, okay, here it comes. And just make space for it and allow it to happen instead of trying to repress or fix or change or deny. It's part of being a soul having a human experience.
If we could all do that, we'd have peace and more love in between relationships. If we could all do that, I work on that daily myself. And it doesn't always. It's not 100%, but that's why I was saying it takes conscious, I say sedulousness, because it takes persevering, it takes discipline to do that. But, I remember having a conversation with you several weeks ago about how, when you do become aware and, cognizant and conscious of the fear or whatever it is, and you get through it, what's happened for me is that when challenges, because challenges are a lifelong thing. And I always say challenges is an opportunity for growth. But when you're in that place, it's like the next is a little, you go through it a little faster. You know, when there's another challenge, because like I said, life is full of challenges, it gets a little faster. Or, it's easier to get through because you're open, accepting, because we don't know what's going to come to us at times. I didn't anticipate my physical problems right now, and I know that there's a very strong spiritual message for me on this, as well as slowing down. But, it's like it gets easier the more you practice it, the consciousness of getting through your challenges. Because it's only to make you a better person, only to make your life, it's like you keep building up. To me, it's like, you just keep getting better and better if you focus on that.
I must admit that I was really expecting that you'd get to a certain time and place in your life, and it would be like, oh, I've reached, whether it was enlightenment or, that ultimate, and
that's the ego. The ego.
It doesn't happen like that.
No, it doesn't. It's a lifelong commitment.
There's a learning curve.
The ego gets in the way,
But you're right. I think, and that's why they call it a practice, whether it's a meditation practice or a spiritual practice.
Absolutely.
It's practice, practice, practice. And, you cannot just rest on your laurels and think that it's just smooth sailing from here. You gotta be mindful. You gotta work at it.
Mindful. Thank you for saying that, because it is being mindfulness, because it's like, maybe some of the negative things that go through your mind, you don't have to hold on to them. Let them fleet out, and you have a choice what stays in your mind. We do have a choice, and some people, I guess, maybe haven't grown enough to understand that difference of that you have a choice. Some people don't feel like they have a choice.
It's so funny you should say that, because this morning I wrote on a piece of paper and put it on my refrigerator. I put, take a moment and choose. And I think if we could all just, I think we just tend to and that was what I mean when I say sleepwalking. And maybe it would be running through life. I was just,
on automatic pilot.
Exactly.
And we can't do that.
Life was living me. I wasn't living my life. If we could just take a moment, we do have a choice. And then on the O of the choose, I put one happy face and one frowny face. Because you know what? There's going to be the bitter with the sweet.
That's right.
The positive with the negative.
Absolutely. But I think that, a lot of people are afraid for the sadness, because there is that process of whether it's anger, sadness, mourning, or whatever it is. Like, I still feel like we're just beginning the mourning with Robin Williams' death. I didn't know him personally, but I did know him. Everybody feels that piece of him, but it's like, life is too short not to try to evolve the best you can. I know everybody's doing the best they can with the awareness that they have, and that's one thing that I've been able to accept with all my experiences. I may not like some of their behaviors, but it's where they are at the time, and they may not be fully aware of why they're doing it, because they're on that automatic pilot. So it's like, okay, that's their stuff, not mine. And all I can do is pray that, that they'll learn through that experience.
Well, on the heels of Philip Seymour Hoffman and Robin Williams, I just really hope, that people, that this will bring more awareness and compassion and attention to are, you know, issues with depression. There were a couple of tweets early on today, you know, people judging this as cowardly, or how could they, you know, leave their wife and children or whatever. And it's like, you know, only if you've, you know, had that experience can you understand how, you know, dark and devastating that place of deep despair is. I mean, nobody would do this unless they felt that there was just no way out.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
exactly.
You know, it serves no purpose to judge, you know, or
well,
to...
See, that's that unconditional love. Stop judging, too, because, you know, the gifts that he has given to all of us, the joy, the wonderment, the happy, the laughing, the laughter, the laughter, the laughter, the laughter. And, you know, that's what I'm focusing on. Because...
Well, I think it's important to point out, you know, and I said this to you earlier, you know, and I spent 20 years plus in Los Angeles working with, you know, TV stars, and I think, you know, some of us aspire to, you know, be rich and famous and think that, you know, if only this, if only that, you know, then I'll be happy, then I'll be happy. And
that's the ego. It's all ego.
There are so many individuals that seemingly have it all. You know, they're beautiful, they're rich, they're successful, they have people idolizing them, and they are some of the most miserable human beings on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So it's not, you know, out here that you'll find that peace.
And you know what? I think that's why our global community, our world is going through so much challenge, is because it is time to wake up to that inner soul, you know, that inner, and really, I've been thinking about saying this before I came on here, is that please, men especially that are out there, pay attention to how you feel and allow yourself to feel it, because I think that is a huge dis-ease amongst women too. It isn't just a male thing, but more so because of our society. Things are changing, but pay attention. You know, obviously Robin was hurting inside so much that, you know, he exploded. I mean, you know, so this is an example.
Men, women, I mean, I think as, you know, I really hope that we will teach our children. You know, I hear more and more, and it gives me hope about, you know, classes that are being taught in emotional literacy. You know, I know from my own childhood, you know, cry baby, you know, you're such a drama queen, you know, suck it up. Put on a happy face, you know, nobody likes it, you know, and it's like, what do you do with those feelings? What, are they wrong? Are you wrong to have them?
No,
this is the kind of thing that we take on.
Yes, that's right.
And only until we get to a point where it's like, you know what, I'm going to allow myself to feel those feelings, even if they're painful, even if they're not attractive. Yeah. And the more we like talk to each other about it, I've got girlfriends I've known since kindergarten. And we're only now admitting to ourselves and to each other how we really feel.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful that, hey, it's happening, you know,
Yes.
better late than never.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the other day I went in to get an x-ray, and I was in so much pain. I stood at the counter and I said, you know, I'm about ready to cry because of my pain. And the woman that was sitting behind the counter, she goes, oh, don't cry. And I said, you know what? I can cry if I want to. I'm in pain. It's okay to cry. You know, I said that. It's okay to cry. And the other girl that was saying, she goes, yes, it is. You know, so, and she was an older lady, you know, and I thought, you know, we're human beings. We have, this is a big, huge part of us. And we've got to be able to keep it all healthy.
Absolutely, but you know, I mean, I believe that suppressing those feelings definitely contributed to my illness.
Oh, sure, of course. I mean, as Louise Hay says, that there's a reason for all of our ailments that we have. And believe me, I've been reflecting right now on what's going on. So it's really interesting to integrate, you know, because you can heal faster when you're aware of some of the mental attributes when you have pain. It's not always easy to accept. You know, we have to accept it before we can to move through it.
And I think, as I said before, I think health, love, and money, I think they all are connected and they all influence each other. And, you know, I know my love relationships were definitely influenced by money. You know, my health and money interfaced. I remember when the bills started to come in, and I was so fearful of, is this, do I have to pay this? Is this covered on my medical? And I, you know, it's so not conducive to healing when you're freaked out about money.
Like the polar opposite. Yeah.
Which is, you know, I guess a plug for, you know, when are we going to get on the, you know, program with, you know, decent health coverage for all, and so that people don't have to have that kind of fear.
See, I think this is, I know that this is where the trust factor comes in. Trusting your, whatever you want to call it, trusting the universe, trusting God, trusting spirit, you know, divine, whatever you want to call it. That's why I think it's one of the hardest challenges, except when you keep having demonstrations, and I know that that's happened to me many, many times, is having that trust that you are going to be taken care of. And just trusting that. It's like, okay, good example. You go, your car automatically starts up. Generally speaking, you go out, your car starts up. You go out, you don't even think about it. You go in, starts up. That's how I wish that every human being could have that faith in that higher self, and that connection with the higher self, God, universe, whatever.
I agree with you. Your analogy to the car automatically starting up, it's sort of reminding me of, you know, how we sort of take things for granted, though. You know, and in my life, I just think, you know, when you're just kind of sleepwalking through life and you're just not really appreciating anything, you're just sort of, you know, like for money, for example. It's just so nice to have the money to take a vacation or to buy something nice to wear or to this or to that, and not really appreciate it. It's only when you have the opposite experience. I think that's where the good and the bad, the up and the down, you can't have, you know, an appreciation for the one without having the experience of the other. And I feel like God or spirit is beyond that comparison.
Well, you got to also be grateful for what you have.
Well, that's what I mean.
That will allow more. You know, I mean, I have had money and I've lost it, and I've been ripped off. I know what it feels like. And now, living passion and purpose, then I know it follows. I know it's following me. It's just ready to work.
Well, I think a lot of that is just, you know, for me anyway, is letting go.
Letting go, letting God. I like that. I mean, I know people resist sometimes God, but I don't. But I don't want to, you know, it's important to let go.
Just get out of your
I don't want
way.
to be I'm not the general manager of the universe. You know, one of my guests reminded me of that I'm not, she was speaking of herself, I'm not the general manager of the universe. So you surrender, you let go.
Well, and you know, to go back to my cross-country sojourn, I mean, I basically got in the car, pointed myself, you know, west, and let go.
Yeah.
You know, and I wound up here.
Look where you are.
And I'm just, you know, so happy and so healthy. You know, I mean, I've been given this opportunity to be in one of the most beautiful environments in the world and meet such wonderful people, you know, and it's because I just trusted in the universe.
Yeah, so see, you're
got out of my own way.
Yeah, and you are an example of that. So, you know, and we just keep doing that. Just keep doing that.
And let me just say, yeah, I have my moments.
You're human.
And, you know, I'll even beat myself up over them. But like you said, I'll correct myself quicker. I'll catch myself faster. And I can go, you know, get back on track.
Yeah, and that's the blessing. That's the one, that's the gift. It's a gift.
And that's where the gratitude comes in. It's like, yeah, you know what? I think I am getting it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, yeah, we'll have our little slips, and well, that's part of, as I said before. But the slips
are sure to.
we're souls having a human experience.
Absolutely.
And the human experience is going to be frustrating and painful, and it's the whole gamut.
It's the way it is. It's the human condition. Is there anything, I can't believe it, but our time is coming
Are
down.
you serious?
Oh, yeah, I'm serious. I mean...
Well, we may have to do a whole series.
Is there anything you would love, you know, from Jill, of who Jill is, that you would love to be able to share with the viewers that you know, would be inspiring or helpful?
I don't know if it would be inspiring or helpful. You know, I really do feel, as you said earlier, you know, we're all one. And every time I find myself, you know, and we all have that inner chatter going.
The committee, the whatever you want, the race consciousness, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, you know what I would share? I would say, be kind to yourself. You know, let yourself off the hook. And don't take things so seriously.
Oh, yes, laughter.
I mean, that's what I'm working on.
Oh, okay, yeah. My dad always said, always keep that little kid alive inside of you, because that's what will let you have fun. Never forgotten that, because that's true, you know. Like, you know, if you're playing with kids, it really comes out with me. I love playing with kids.
Yeah, I think it's...
Now it's fun to be able to play with adult kids, you know, because that endorphins, I forgot the other term, the other chemical that it produces.
But we're all about, you know, compassion for others and understanding, kindness, and this and that. But we've got to demonstrate that to ourselves.
From ourselves, definitely. We've got to do that in ourselves all the time. You know, that unconditional love within ourselves, because how can you give it to others if you don't feel it? I mean, there's a lot of walking wounded going everywhere on this planet, and I just wish that they could get that inner love, and life would be a lot easier. I mean, you know, as I said, there's always going to be challenges, but you get through it, especially when you have loved ones and friends that are like family and all that.
Well, self-forgiveness, that was a big one.
Yeah.
For me, and that's still challenging, but practice,
yes. Persevering, being sedulous. I don't know, that's a new word. I love this word. I love saying it. It just seems so romantic or something, but it's persevering in being aware and feeling that love, feeling the love, expressing the love. Jill, thank you so much.
Thank you, Cheryl,
for coming on here. We were just...
Yay!
Yes, yes, it is what it is, and I certainly appreciate you support and coming on the show. in spiritual psychology from the University of Santa Monica. I'll leave you with this. The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Be impeccable with your words. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own dream or illusion. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. Always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret.